Buckeye Talk coming to you from SHI Stadium in Piscataway, New Jersey. Ohio State just got done with a 52-13 victory over Rutgers. Here, I'm Nathan Baird from cleveland.com along with Stephen Means. We're grading C.J. Stroud. Came back today after taking a week off to rest that ailing shoulder, and it really seemed like it made a difference. 17-23, 330 yards, 5 touchdowns, no picks. First game without a pick, I believe. So, a lot of progress in this game. I'm going to give C.J. Stroud an A-. I think to grade him anything lower than that would probably be not grading him against himself. I think you really have to be sort of grading him against a standard that wouldn't be fair to him at this point. It's not to say he didn't have some moments today. I thought there were a couple of plays that could have easily gotten away from him, or near interceptions, that sort of thing. But in a couple of those cases, he bounced right back and made great plays. They were probably the best plays made all year, where he avoids a sack, throws a touchdown, Chris Olave crossing across the middle, goes for 44 yards. That one stands out to me. There were a couple others. There just seemed to be a different touch on the ball for him today. So it was a combination of he just looked healthier. He looked more comfortable out there. We kind of speculated that just giving him that week off, if the shoulder really was biting him that much, give him that week off and let him just sort of rest was going to help as far as the accuracy, was going to help as far as probably just his peace of mind from throw to throw. Because he was only playing Tulsa the last time, and you could tell that it affected him. No offense to Tulsa. So I'm giving him an A-. Stephen, what is your grade?
I'm giving him an A, and I think it's it's two different things. It's what you just said. It's the shoulder. He said it himself. I felt like I could throw the ball and not feel like my shoulder was about to fall off. He wasn't messing around with the shoulder after every throw, whether that was before the game or during the game. But also, I think he watched last week and saw, I'm fine. This is my job. Ryan Day has basically come out and said, I am the starting quarterback. He got asked earlier this week, if C.J. Stroud healthy, is he the starting quarterback? Yes, wasn't a situation where it feels like it's still a competition at this point. He just looked like a guy who was a quarterback one today, and he hasn't necessarily always looked like that. We saw things that go, if that develops, that can help this team compete on a national level. And I don't think we could say that consistently his first 3 games of the season. So A for me. His one mistake, I think, was he just read the wrong guy and was supposed to throw it down to Jeremy Rucker, and he ends up almost throwing a pick. But, of course, yes, he comes back on the very next play, and that's probably the best play of his career. He had another play where he had to roll out and buy a little bit of time. He locks eyes with Chris Olave. Chris Olave goes into scramble Joe mode, and then Chris Olave does Chris Olave-type things on this catch on the sideline over here. So this was clearly the best day that C.J. Stroud, if Tulsa was the worst day that we've seen.
I think that week off helped him mentally, too. He talked about that, and you can't really afford to do that for just no reason. You can't sit a guy down and have him like, hey, go think about things. It just happened to work out kind of as an extra benefit to give him that week off of physical rest. He also got a week of, mental perspective. I'm not trying to buy in too much to the coach speak, but I think anytime you're although he was the one who said it wasn't Ryan Day so much, although they said some similar things. But anytime you're a guy who is young and you're getting thrown into this big job and you have big games right off the bat, and especially when one goes wrong and you lose, then I think there's a mental weight that can start to build. He was going to get a week off after next week anyway, mentally, because they play Maryland on Saturday, and then they've got an idle week, and then they play their final 6 games of the Big Ten season. So he was going to get that break anyway. I think getting him 2 of those in a 4-week span, both physical and mental, could be pretty big for him in that second half of that season. He talked today just about kind of having a new perspective on what he's doing, where he's at in his career and his life, and the kind of opportunity that's ahead of him. And I thought he just looked comfortable today. This was about almost the best case scenario you would, I think, have expected coming off of last week. A little bit hard to tell. Rutgers isn't great, but they certainly looked better in the second half defensively against Michigan last week, and Ohio State shredded them today.
I'll say this, and then we can wrap this up before we go long. I think this is the C.J. Stroud that they saw all offseason, and the reason he won the job, because when Chris Olave got done talking, I mean, obviously we're walking away, so I'm just having a short conversation. And from the conversation we had, this is the C.J. that they saw all offseason, not the guy they saw the first 3 weeks who was discouraged and dealing with a shoulder injury. Today is why C.J. Stroud won the quarterback job, and I think this is a guy that they can rally behind going forward.
I think that's a good point. Get the text, 614-350-3315. We'll be bringing you a lot of intel leading up to the game at Maryland next week.